start. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Tamara O'Day Stevens, and I am the Student Advisory Committee Advisor for the Board of Regents. Welcome this morning to our first SAC meeting for the fall 2025 semester. Happy to have you all here. We are going to start with calling our quorum for our committee. I'm going to start with to see if we have a rep from Manchester Community College. Is there a rep from Manchester Community College present? Absence is noted. Quinnebog Valley Community College.
Yes. Hello, my name is Hayden Mannix.
Hi, Hayden. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Middlesex Community College. Middlesex Community College. Absence is noted. Three Rivers Community College.
Hi, yes, my name is Alyssa. Where's Becky?
Thank you, Alyssa. Glad to have you here. Naugatuck Valley Community College. Naugatuck Valley Community College. Absence is noted. Northwestern Community College. We have
Hello.
Lori present and we have Dakota, correct?
Yeah, and
Correct.
I'm sorry, the interpreter, I still need to pin someone and now I lost who I can see.
We have Dakota and Lori present. Thank you. I believe Tungus Community College, I met Adrian at the start of the meeting, but Adrian, if you could introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adrian Demerville, and I am Tunxus's representative for the SAC meeting, and I am also the president of the Student Government Association on my campus.
Thank you, Adrian, for being here. Norwalk Community College. This is noted. Asnuntuck Community College. You're on mute, Asnuntuck.
Hello, my name is Mike Morales.
Thank you for being here, Michael. Good to have you. Capital Community College.
Hi, my name is Dominique Dupuy. I am CT State's SAC rep as well as their SGA president.
Nice to meet you, Dominique. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Housatonic Community College.
Hi, my name is Jordan Teixeira. I'm president of student government at Housatonic. Yeah, it's my first meeting, so.
Jordan, we're happy to have you here. Thank you. Gateway Community College. Gateway Community College. Absence is noted. Central Connecticut State University.
Tyler Yee from Central Connecticut State University.
Good to see you, Tyler. Thank you for being here. Eastern Connecticut State University.
Biden from Eastern Connecticut State University. Also my first meeting, so I'm excited to join the team.
Matthew, correct? Is that what you said? Good to meet you, Matthew.
Yeah. Good to meet you too. Thank you.
Thank you for being in the secondary rep and being here, Matthew. I appreciate you being here. Western Connecticut State University.
Hello, my name is Isabel Schenkel. I will be representing Western Connecticut State University.
Thank you, Isabel, for being here.
Of course.
Southern Connecticut State University.
Hello there, my name is Tom Gilberty from Southern Connecticut State. I also have my alternate here, Helena.
And Helena, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh, hold on. Hi, nice to meet you guys. I'm Helena from Southern Connecticut State.
Nice to meet you, Helena. And last but not least, Donna from Charter Oak.
Hi, I'm Donna Wagner representing Charter Oak. Nice to meet everyone.
Donna, good to see you. And I'm happy and pleased to say that we have met quorum for today. Yay! Thank you, everybody. I'm very excited. Woo! Terrific news. All right. So with that said, we are going to move on to our agenda for the day. What we're going to do first and foremost is we are going to do the introduction of our SAC chair candidate, which is Dakota. And Dakota is going to present himself as your SAC chair candidate. And there is no candidate running against Dakota. So what we will do is we will have a vote of voting him in, or if there's anybody that would like to abstain or not vote him in, we'll do a vote after, but there is no one contesting against him. So that is what we're going to do first. And then we will have the SAC vice chairs also present themselves after, and that'll be an actual vote by the committee. So the committee has one rep from each campus can vote. So the deciding votes for the campus reps that are here, if there are 2 of you here from a campus, only 1 of you can vote. So with the campuses that have 2 reps here, you will have to make a decision who is doing that vote for your campus. Or you can decide together. Does that make sense? All right, so we're going to start with Dakota. Dakota, I'm going to give you the floor for presenting yourself, and I'm going to put myself on mute.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay. So, my name is Dakota Lawson, and this is my actually 2nd year acting as the SAC representative from CT State Northwestern. I am a first-generation liberal arts major, but I am seeking to transfer and pursue a bachelor's in filmmaking, maybe even a master's if I could find the right program. So video production has been a lifelong passion of mine, back to when I was a kid making stupid, skit videos with my friends. And after a few years of exploring what kind of direction I wanted to take when I first enrolled at community college, it kind of all came back full circle to that. And so that's what I'm pursuing. I was born in Southern California, where I lived with my parents on the Torres Martinez Desert Cahuilla Reservation for the first few years of my life. But after moving to Connecticut at a young age, I never really got the chance to really experience my native culture. So one of my life goals is to get back over there one day and reconnect with my father's side of the family. I have held some leadership positions in the last few years, including Treasurer of Northwestern's SGA, Phi Theta Kappa's Regional Vice President of Service last year, and VP of Leadership this year. Last semester, I campaigned for an international position, which gave me the opportunity to speak in front of over 3,000 honors students from across the U.S., while also getting to hear their stories of struggles and success. I am also a peer mentor in our campus peer mentor program, where I've been guiding new students through their transition into community college. These positions gave me firsthand experiences getting to know the countless stories, an incredibly diverse range of community college students, their hardships, their projects, and the ways they've given back to their community. These experiences, as well as my own of finding myself, finding direction, and a sense of belonging, have inspired me to recognize my strengths and utilize them to give back to the same community that helped me flourish as an individual. And that is why I am running for the chair position of the Student Advisory Committee.
Thank you so much, Dakota. So now the group will take a vote. Are there any if everybody would use the raise the hand emoji down below, if you approve voting in Dakota as your chair for SAC for this upcoming year. Are there any students that would like to abstain?
Yes.
Who would like to abstain? Name? Can you please put in the chat?
Oh, sorry. This is Lori. I meant vote yes, not abstain.
Okay. Any abstentions from the vote? Okay. No abstentions? Sorry, no abstentions? Congratulations, Dakota. You are our new chair for SAC for this upcoming year.
Thank
We
you.
will move-
Thank you for having me. Sorry.
We're excited for you to take on that role. It's a lot of work, and we are excited that you'll be representing our students across this. I would like to take a moment. We have a couple of new folks that just jumped on. If they could please introduce themselves. I think, I believe, Nicholas, you're from Naugatuck Community College. Nicholas, could you say hello to the group?
Hello, everybody. I'd like to first apologize for my lateness. This is my work day, and a new client come in. I was organizing some files, so it over my head a little bit, but I saw a notification come in, so I'm in my car now. Hopefully it's not too loud in the background.
Thank you
So
for
just
being here, Nicholas. I appreciate you coming.
just introduce myself kind of, and all
What's
right.
your
So
major at Naugatuck Valley? What are you studying?
currently it's general education, or business, one of those. But I plan on going into accounting. I have some accounting classes under my belt, and possibly law. I work for an attorney and involved in like the politics of my school, so I'm interested in politics. Might get into that a little bit. I'm the SGA president in my school, and also of course an SAC rep. And for all those interested, we are involved with our 4Cs union. The 4Cs, what they do is they unionize for students. One thing we have done is lobby in Hartford for more funding for our schools, or the release of the funds that are currently being held up that are in our storage accounts that are being saved for a rainy day, and I believe it is a rainy day. So for anyone interested in representing students in Hartford and things like that, you can connect with me, and I could happily point you in the right direction. One thing I want to do with SAC is unite and one body, one voice. I'm 25 years old, and that should about cover what's relevant.
Thank you, Nicholas. And that's what we're going to talk about as a group once we vote in our vice chair. And there's going to be goals set for the SAC group this semester. So that's going to be our next step once we do that. And I believe there was another student that came on. I want to ensure that they have a camera and at least voice available to say hello, but I'm not sure. I think in the chat they said they were unsure. Was there another student that came on? Just double checking. That would like
Hashman Ruff said he did join.
Okay.
He's trying to get his camera to work, he said.
Okay. Maybe later in the meeting would like to say hello. How's that? All right. We are going to go on to our presentations of our vice chairs, and we are going to begin with Thomas. Thomas, are you prepared to start?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. I'm going to mute myself. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Hello, all. How are we doing today? Gonna get a thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we doing? Thumbs up. Awesome. That is what I like to hear. My name is Tom Gilberti. I am running for the vice chair of SAC. Before I start, I just wanted to say thank you to Tamara O'Day-Stevens for facilitating this. I know it's not easy to kind of put all this together, so just wanted to thank her real quick. So I'm running because we need someone in a time like this who is experienced and is more importantly experienced with government. So I am the only person running that has government experience. I am a local zoning official for my town, as well as I'm a former CGA intern. And I believe in a time like this, when we have all these cuts coming to higher ed, we need someone that knows the government and knows how to work through the bureaucracy. I mean, as a CGA intern, that was my job. I would talk to constituents and try to get them through the state bureaucracy. And as well, I think we also need someone who has these prior relationships to legislators, because a good majority of the job is going up to Hartford and advocating, like Nicholas was talking about, for more of the funds. Like, for example, like I'm going to, again, reference what Nicholas was saying, because I was also going to bring this up, how we have funds stored, but right now we can't use them because it's not considered a rainy day, even though it's very much a rainy day. So yeah, that's like my big thing with this job. It needs to be someone experienced. And as well, I also believe, actually meant to say, on my first day of the job, if I were to become vice chair, my first thing I would do is I would talk to the smaller colleges. So what do I mean by that? So essentially, I come from a small college. I transferred from a college of less than 2,000 kids. So I know what it's like to not have their voice heard. So the first thing I would do if I were to become SAC vice chair is sit down with all the reps from the smaller community colleges and state universities. That would be Quinebaug, Northwestern, Assuntook, Middlesex, and of course for the universities, that'd be Western and Eastern. We need to give them a voice. I feel like it's very imperative that we do. But yeah, just thank you all again for considering me for this position. And before I end, I just wanted to read off this endorsement or this testimony that was given to me. So this was from Carla Glaze. She was the last chair back when it was a community colleges. She was the last chair, the community college chair for this committee. And she writes, I believe that Tom is the best choice for this position. He cares about the issues and more importantly, cares about people. And in my time as chair, I found that the people who cared the most got the most done. So I believe Tom is the best position for this position, and I appreciate his diligence to this work. So that was her statement, but thank you all again for considering me. And yeah, I wish Tyler luck in his speech as well. He is a very good candidate as well.
Nicholas, I see your hand up.
Yeah, can we ask questions after speaking?
Yeah,
Is that all right?
you can.
So Tom, why do you care?
That's a very good question. I've just cared about people all my life. I mean, honestly, that's why I got into politics in the first place. I care about people. I care about their outcomes, and I just want to see the best out of people. I mean, that's why I got into politics in the first place, because I determined that the politics is the best way to affect the most change to the most people. But outside of that, like even just outside of politics, let's just forget advocacy for a second. I believe that everyone deserves dignity, and I believe everyone deserves the, what do you call it? Everyone deserves to be cared for, and everyone deserves to be treated like, you know, a normal person, you know what I mean? Like someone who deserves to be respected. So it's a very broad question, but I would say that's my answer.
Thank you for the question, Nicholas. Lori, I see your hand up. Lori, did you have a question?
Oh, no, I'm just still awkward with this technology. I didn't mean to, no.
All good. Isabel.
Yeah,
I see your hand
I
up.
think I was trying to click an emoji, not the hand up. Sorry.
All good. Isabel.
Yes, hello, Isabel Schenkel here, representing Western Connecticut State University. My question to you, Tom, is you brought up representing smaller schools, which of course is a very important thing to have. However, I don't see the issue. Now, mind you, this is my first day here. I still have a lot to learn. However, it seems like we are all equally represented, one person per school. Do you mind going more in depth as to why you think this is really important, what struggles you've seen, things like that? Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, that's a very good question. I mean, in my time, I would say that looking at the budget, usually from what I noticed, the smaller schools don't get as much of the fund increases as someone like an Eastern or a Western or Assateague or Northwestern, whatnot. And I've also transferred from a school that had less than 2,000 people. And yeah, of course, we're all equally represented. But when you have these issues of funding cuts and whatnot, I believe it's very imperative that you lift up all voices. And yeah, that's what I would say. I've noticed that that the funding for the smaller schools isn't as good as what we get for the bigger schools in terms of nominal numbers. But yeah, that'd be my reason. I want to give them a voice.
And then follow-up question to that, what is your plan to make changes for that? Again, I am new. I want to know how we're going to make this happen. If you were to be VP, what would be a loose plan of action?
Yeah, I mean, my first thing is I would talk to the connections I already have and try to build them up. I already know a majority of the members on the higher ed committee. I know one of the chairs, I think it's Rep Haddad, who's one of the chairs of that, as well as Derek Slapp. And I've also worked with a majority of representatives already on a lot of work for higher ed. Like, for example, I think, I don't know if Sujata is still on the higher ed committee, but she was the one who introduced the PACT expansion, which means that no matter what school you come from, you'll get 2 years of state university for free. So I would say that would be my first course of action, is already trying to deepen the relationships I have and then kind of branch out and talk to some of the senators that decide this. And I would try to talk to them as well. Like, for example, I think her name is Kathy Ostin. She represents much of Eastern CT. And she's the one who's making a lot of these decisions. So she would probably be my number one to branch out to, along with others like Joe and Hartley or someone like that. So that would be my plan of action.
Thank you so much, Tom. Good luck.
Thank you.
Nicholas, I saw your hand next, and then Matthew. I believe that was the order. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
Tommy partially answered this now, but I did want to hear you expand upon, you said you knew legislators and representatives, things like that. I think that's integral to anything we want to do at this point. I don't think there's any way we can achieve anything on our own without those kinds of connections. Can you expand upon what regions you're well versed in, who you know to an extent, and just expand on it a little bit in ways you think that what we should know about who you know.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, so I come from Waterbury, which is pretty much Western CT, and I also go to school in Southern Connecticut. So I know a lot of the Western reps as well as the Southern reps. For example, I have a very strong relationship with Kara Rochelle, who is one of the vice chairs on the higher ed committee. I've also worked with David DeFranzo, who is from New Britain, along with Katie Farrar. And those are pretty much like the main people that I know. I don't know if that answers. Oh, and also Lori Sweet and Corey Paris. I don't know if that answers your question.
You know some people on the board of directors, the BOD?
The board of directors for this?
Or the board of regents. I forget what the name is, honestly. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry?
That level, the upper echelon level, kind of.
The Board of Regents that oversees the SAC committee. Is that what you're asking, Nicholas?
Whatever the chancellor's a part of, I forget their name.
That's the Board of Regents. Yep.
So, okay, Board of Regents for this CSU schools, that's right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if the interim chancellor counts. Do they count? If not, at the very least, I know what do you call it? I've known Terrence Chang before. I think he also serves on there. I also know, I think, what's their face? The vice chair, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but I've talked with her about PACT. So off the top of my head, those are the people that I know.
Like,
Matthew, you had your hand up next.
Yeah, thanks. It's also my first day at federal review presumptive, but it's good to hear that in terms of legislation, a lot of representatives. I just wanted to ask, it's clear that you're a man of political ambition yourself, and I can respect that. I just want to ask, if there's a time where we have to criticize Democratic representatives or the people in power right now, will you be willing to do that, even if you're jeopardizing your own career and ambitions?
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I have criticized other Democratic representatives and senators in the past for their votes. I criticized my state senator, Joe Hartley, for voting against PACT expansion. I've criticized Kara Rochelle for not going hard enough for the higher eds. But I think just beyond political experience, I also have experience with like leadership just outside of advocacy. So for example, I'm the president of my fraternity. So one of the things I have to do is I need to be able to criticize brothers or e-board members who aren't doing their job. And I mean, recently we had someone that didn't submit a video and I had to pull them aside and say, listen, you aren't pulling your end of the deal. So I don't want to call you out publicly, but you also got to pull your load better if you want to be able to do the things you want to do. So I think that's a very good question. I thank you for that question.
Yep, no problem. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And thank you, everybody, for your thoughtful questions. Any other questions from the floor? We will go on to our second candidate.
Thank you all
Tyler,
so
are
much.
you ready?
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Let me make sure you have, I think you have access to share.
Okay.
I don't think I put any blocks from anybody sharing their screen right now. Did it let you go?
Hold on. Okay, it should be okay. Yeah. I'm just new to WebEx, so it's
Yeah. I know everybody goes from one thing to another and it's like,
okay. Is it sharing or?
it is. Yes, we can see the screen
Okay.
change.
Okay. Is it full screen or?
It says click to exit full screen. It's still blurry.
Okay. Okay. Is it clear or?
No, it's still blurry on my end. I don't know if everybody else is clear. Now it is. Okay.
Oh, yep, no, we
Okay.
see it.
You're good,
Okay.
Tyler.
Okay. Wait, what does it look like? Is it like just the presentation or?
I mean, we can see the slides underneath
Okay.
and like the design on the side, but honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
that makes that much of a difference.
All right.
It's not in presenter mode. That's
Yeah, I don't think I can get into that. Okay.
okay.
All right. So I'll start. Thank you, Tom, for your speech. I know you're a good candidate and you have a very good background. So hello, everyone on the Student Advisory Committee and TAM. I'm Tyler E, and I'm also running for Student Advisory Committee Vice Chair. So I'll start off with a little bit about my background. Who am I? I'm a CCSU student studying political science with minors in philosophy and psychological sciences. I started off leadership as a club communications officer for the Political Science Club here at CCSU, and I was able to gain a lot of communication and leadership and public speaking experience that helped me transition to other leadership roles. But as I became more involved on campus at CCSU and more engaged with my community, I gradually realized that a lot of students weren't having their concerns adequately addressed or met. such as them being in financial trouble or not having their clubs be able to be financed or having their voices met. That's when I ran for Student Government Association Senator, where I was able to advocate for students' concerns. From there, I was able to fight for students across both the CCSU campus and the CSU system by co-authoring with a fellow senator from the CCSU SGA an open letter to the state legislature advocating for more student resources and being able to address the student concerns and problems across the central campus. I was able to testify in from the state legislature, specifically the Higher Education and Employment Opportunity Committee of the CGA twice for more funding for CSU's institutions, including the 12 community college campuses, Charter Oak State College, and the 4 Connecticut State Universities. Additionally, I was able to vote for motions in favor of students across the central campus, and I hope to be able to further this by bringing it to the CSU system. So why Student Advisory Committee Vice Chair? I want to represent the students of the CSU system. I want to be able to defend higher education in terms of Connecticut's higher education system and get more involved in Connecticut. In doing this, I hope to be able to create positive change for all of the students of the CSU system. There's more than 60,000 students here, so I really want to make sure that they don't feel left out, that they don't feel like they're being oppressed, and that they feel free to be educated and empower their voices across the CSU system. My plan for Student Advisory Committee Vice Chair. Currently, there is a system-wide survey in development from the previous chair, vice chair, and student advisory committee. I plan on continuing that and being able to get feedback from the students of the CSU system and be able to analyze that and advocate to address those concerns. I plan on strengthening the communication between students and the Board of Regents to be able to have the students understand the direction of their education system, to understand what the Board of Regents does and how they affect their daily lives. And I also want to defend CSU system student interests in the Board of Regents meetings, being able to get students feedback and all of their concerns into those meetings directly and be able to have those in power understand what students are facing day by day. And finally, the dynamic between the Student Advisory Committee, you all, and me as a potential vice chair will not just be as individual decision makers, it'll be as a team where we all make decisions together. I will not just lead everyone to do things by, and leave everyone at the wayside. I will make sure that everyone has a voice on this committee and make sure that everyone is able to work together for a plan together. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Any questions from the team? And Tyler, if you could take down your PowerPoint, that would be great. So we can see everybody's faces. Thank you.
Yep.
I see Isabel, your hand is up.
This is actually a question for Dr. O'Day. So we never really went through what the qualification, well, not so much qualifications, but what the role is of vice chair, what are the duties, etc. So if we could run through that, I think that's pretty important before we make a vote.
Your chair and your vice chair are your representatives to the Board of Regents for your 12 campuses across the system. They represent all of your student voices and go to the Board of Regents, and they represent the interest of the students across the system. They run the monthly SAC meetings that we're having right now. So this is the start of your year, but they run those meetings throughout the semester. They gain the input from the students across the different SGAs, and then they bring those voices up to the Board of Regents. That is their role. They're going to set goals with the SAC committee through the entire semester, and those goals will be set by the entire team, but it's their role to bring those goals and those voices to the Board of Regents for impact and change. They're also conduits to get students to help with legislative action, any legislative action that happens at the Capitol regarding our system. And so they're also the conduits that work with that and our legislative officers that are at the CSU office. Does that help a little bit more, Isabel, with understanding their roles?
Yes, it clears things up so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nicholas?
Hello, Tyler. Thank you for your speech. One thing that I did touch upon with our other candidate, Tom, was, who you know. Unfortunately, a lot of what we're doing is who you know. I think you were very effective in communicating, what you've done and where you want to go. But unfortunately, who do you know and how much of that do you bring to the table in terms of networking?
So although I've spoke directly in front of the state legislature, including in the Higher Education and Employment Development Committee, I don't personally know that many legislators as I never worked as a CJ intern, but I do know members of higher education, including Terrence Chang, the former chancellor of the Board of Regents. I've spoke to him personally, and I've known him personally. So, and I've plan on being able to develop more connections as we go on if I do win the vice chair position, because I do see how, knowing legislators already is a very good advantage for this role. But I think knowing people already would create bias, and I want to be able to naturally develop them as the SAC vice chair.
Other questions from the group? Donna?
Hi. Because I've been involved with SAC for the last couple of years, I've seen a lot of times where our chair and vice chair just really didn't follow through with what they were supposed to be doing. They often went off on their own tangent and didn't really come back to us for feedback, including our, again, legislative liaisons that are already at the CSCU. They may have worked with them individually, but the point was they were supposed to come back to us with, list of our representatives and sample letters for us to use, because it's not just about the chair and the vice chair, it's about all of us being able to come and speak in Hartford. Personally, I'm in Florida, so I can't do that. I can represent my school, but I want to be able to work with other people here on SAC to make sure everybody's voice is heard and it's not just the chair and the vice chair, because I have heard from my institution that the amount of funding we get is based on pretty much the number of responses that our legislators receive. Those personal stories is what moves them to open the purse. So I think you've been involved with SAC. I like the point that you made about following up on the survey. I thought that took entirely too long to drag through 2 semesters, the fall and the spring last year, and it still isn't done. So I like the point that you brought that up. Let's finish that and get that information, because that will be useful. So anything that you'd like to add about how you plan to follow up with us?
Yeah, I plan on making sure that everyone has their chance to speak at the meetings, the SAC meetings, and making sure that that all of that is written out, and I can follow up on anything that is spoken during the meeting. I also, for the survey, do want to finish it by the end of the semester so we can release it for next semester. And I plan on mobilizing, if you will, the SAC to be able to speak in front of either virtually or in person to the Higher Education and Employment Development Committee. There was an opportunity that I was part of last semester where we were able to speak virtually to them. So as someone from Charter Oak State College, you're online, so I can understand some difficulty with getting in person to the committee. So I will want to, get that opportunity back from the state legislature so we can all speak in front of them.
Any other questions from the group? Which campuses have multiple representatives here today? I think Northwestern is one. Is there another campus that has multiple representatives here?
I think that'd be me as well.
Quinnebog Valley.
Valley?
Yes, Quinnebog Valley.
Okay, so if you guys
has
could just
Trinity.
identify who's going to vote out of the two of you, out of those 2 campuses. I will start the Slido poll, which will come up. I'm going to launch it for the vote, and then we will take our vote. and then I will announce the winner. Are you prepared to know who's going to vote out of your campuses?
Lori Holinsky will be voting for Northwestern.
Okay, Lori will be voting, and I just saw in the chat that was decided upon. Okay, are we ready? So 1 vote per campus. I'm going to launch the Slido. If you go where the 3 dots are, you will find the Slido, and you can choose your candidate. Has everybody completed their vote?
I did.
I'd like to say congratulations to Tyler. He has been seated as the vice chair with 69% of the vote. Thank you so much. Tom, you did a wonderful job as well with your presentation. I would like to say thank you to everyone that came to the meeting. All your voices were wonderful and all your questions were wonderful, and I just wanted to say thank you. We're going to move into one more piece of the rest of the meeting. I want to start first with, I'm going to put in the chat.
Sorry, I do have to go. Just let you know. This is Lori. But congratulations, Tyler. It was so nice to meet you and everyone. And I'm just sorry, I do have to run. Dakota's going to cover me from here on out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Yep. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. I put into the chat our standards and expectations that SAC had created 2 years ago. This is actually under the leadership of Carla and Luis when I first started working with them as their advisor. And I want to bring these to the attention of this group because it's really important that we discuss these. And I want you to marinate on these till our next meeting. And Dakota and Tyler will bring these back as our first agenda item when we come back to our next meeting. But these were the standards and expectations that led our group in civility and how we spoke with one another. And whenever I've worked with a group, whether I advised them or worked with them, I think it's important that we have almost like a beacon or a lighthouse that guides us in how we're going to treat one another. And there's so much incivility right now in our world, whether it be on social media, whether it be in the news, whether it be on our campuses, in our world. And I think it's very important that we set ground rules and expectations of how we are going to be respectful, and we are going to be kind to one another in our meetings, and we are going to listen to one another. And it doesn't matter what our opinions are, what side of the political stance we are on, that we are working together in unison to make our system better and to make our campuses better. And so we are going to talk about that at our next meeting of how we are going to treat one another in our meetings. And we can adjust these expectations or add to them. But I think it's very important of how we show up and how we behave and act towards one another when we do have disagreement and how we work with one another. But I put those in the chat because I think it's the most important part of working together as a team. So I put those there. And then I'm going to transition now to Dakota and to Tyler, because they are your new folks. And Dakota is going to kind of take the rest of the meeting and just talk briefly about goals going forward in our next meeting. And then we'll do adjournment because that's really the rest of this meeting. And he's going to talk a little bit about how we're going to focus our next meeting on our goals. So Dakota, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Hello. Okay. So, kind of going off of what Tyler was talking about in his speech, I do really think that we should get that survey knocked out. I think it's been a long time coming. So, Tamara, can I ask what stage that is at right now?
The survey, from my understanding, has the categories identified. They had a meeting with the system office IR department, and they identified that they only needed to work with one IRB, which was the system IRB, to get it approved. And that's where it was left, last I heard. So
Okay.
I think it would be another follow-up meeting with the IRB office or the IR office to move that forward. And then there has to be a development of the questions under the categories that were identified for the survey.
Okay.
So I think that would be the next step. And I have all of that information in one email. So I can get that to the team so everybody can see what the summary that I got from Cheyenne and Luis was from the survey. So that was the
Perfect.
last piece of it. The other thing that needs to be voted in is the final bylaws and the
Yes.
update of the final bylaws. So I also have those from our general counsel, Karen Buffkin, and I have the bylaws. And so a meeting has to happen with the chair and vice chair with Karen Buffkin, who's our legal counsel lead, to finalize those. And those just have to be approved through the SAC group as well. So those are already written and done. They just have to be approved at the meeting.
So for that, the next step would be making an appointment with Karen to have her join us so we can get that sworn in. Is that right?
I think we just had you and Tyler meet with Karen with the bylaws, and then you bring it to the next meeting for it to be approved by the committee.
Okay.
Because you have to have quorum to just have it approved, all the changes.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry, just taking notes. Sorry.
Matthew, you had your hand up. Question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask like what exactly in the survey we're talking about?
The team was developing a survey last year to get feedback from students on areas of concern. So my recommendation would be that what I should do is send out the categories that students identified to this entire group to look at, because there may be suggested changes or areas that you might want to explore or bring back to your SGAs to see if there's other areas you might want to add to the survey. That may be something we might want to refresh and make sure that it's as current as it should be. Donna?
Hi, Tam. I totally agree with you. We got some of the questions actually, so it is further along. So it's not like we just have categories and still need to work on all the questions from my understanding. But that's why I was talking about kind of the ball got dropped at the end of the last part of the spring, is that we were supposed to get that kind of final list that the committee worked on so that we could look through it and, like you said, make any final changes, take it back to our SGAs to say, hey, do you guys see anything else that we've missed? So that, again, it could be taken to the central office for that final approval of how it was going to get out to each one of the campuses. So
Do you have the questions, Donna? I have only seen the categories.
Well, we saw some of them, and I thought Luis presented it during the meeting. He showed some of them on the screen, and I thought he was supposed to follow up with an email to say, okay, here it is. And I don't recall seeing that. So I was going to go back through my emails to see if I could find the final thing. He had sent an interim one, and then near one of the last meetings, he kind of presented the questions they had narrowed down to, and we kind of, went back and forth and discussed a few, but we never saw that final draft. So we didn't know, was it ever sent to the central office to review, or did that still need to be done? So yeah, there's
I'll
a
send
lot
you
of
the
stuff.
last one I have, and let's compare notes just to make sure. Because I
Yeah,
think
and that way we can catch up all the new folks that have no idea what we're even
Before I
talking
send it to
about.
everybody, I'm going to send you to show you what I have, because I think that's the most
Okay.
important
And
piece.
then Dakota was here last time too, so he would probably recognize some of that from the meeting.
I just want to make sure what I have is current so that I don't send out. Was anybody else here on that subcommittee? No? Okay. I just want to make sure.
I was
right.
on the bylaws committee, but I do
Yeah.
remember Luis presenting
Okay.
it, yeah, during the meeting. So yeah, the bylaws should be, yeah, good to go. They were pretty much
Yeah.
approved. We were told it was going to the Board of Regents to approve
Yeah.
the changes that we made. Like you said, with them meeting at the office, that's probably the last little bit
Okay.
for us to vote them in.
I'll send you and Dakota, and I'll copy Tyler too on what I have with the survey stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I didn't recall
Okay.
receiving any final
Before we
things.
send
So
it out to the whole group. Okay.
yeah, that
Just
would
to
be
make
good.
sure.
Then we'll all kind of
Okay.
know what we need to do with it from there. But thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Nicholas?
Just so to clarify, because this is all new to me, and I just want to make sure I have all as much accurate information as possible. You guys are waiting for a final draft to come back from the central office in regards to this survey to then send out to us?
There was a survey, from my understanding, categories finalized. The questions were not finalized on the survey because those have to be finalized by the institutional research office before they can get approved. Because there's a research office that has to make sure that the questions are done properly, that they'll be scored properly, et cetera. That also has to go through IRB, which is Institutional Research Board. Before you survey anybody, they have to make sure that there's no harm done to students, et cetera. And that has to get approved. It's a long process. So all of that has not happened yet. So there's still those parts to the puzzle. So the first piece of the puzzle is we have to finalize the questions before it goes to IRB. So
when are you guys looking to have the questions back by?
we have to confirm if the questions are even near being finalized. I don't know the answer to that, Nicholas, because I only saw the categories. I did not see the questions. To be perfectly honest, I only saw there's 3 buckets of almost like areas that students wanted to survey about, but I never saw questions tied to those. So I thought that was the only progress that had been made. And there was 1 or 2 meetings with the IR office, which is institutional research.
So Tamara and Donna, maybe we touch base and kind of pool what we have collectively to make sure that everything, like we're all on the same page, and if not, who has the most recent and most updated stuff. Yeah.
And maybe
So it
you could
sounds like
even
the
reach out
survey's
to
gonna be
Luis to see if he has that final copy, because
Yep.
yeah, that was the part we didn't know about the IRB. Did it go through or not, or were they still in the committee working on questions? So yeah.
I know that for a fact. It's definitely.
I was hoping he had handed it off to you, Tam, so that you could have at least know what we were doing with it this year. But
I have the buckets. I know that for a fact because I looked at it recently. So okay.
Yeah, I think you were at a funeral or something, or you had someone sick in the hospital that you had missed a meeting. We had somebody substitute for you, and I think that was the meeting where Luis went over a lot of those questions, which is why you probably don't remember it. Yeah.
Let me watch that meeting myself and
yeah, that's why I was going to go back and try to find that too to figure out. Yeah, thank you.
So I think we'll focus on that, and then Dakota and Tyler will come back to the next meeting, which is October 17th is our next meeting. We'll send out an invite for that and an agenda, and we'll work on the goals for that. And that'll be our focus. Does that sound reasonable to everybody? Everybody's good with that?
I'm fine with that.
I'd like to just add, please keep in touch. I do want to keep the communication going. I know there were like a couple of communication barriers last year. If we can, all just stay connected, I'd love to really just like discuss things further, even outside of SAC meetings, just get some ideas, what you guys are looking to work on yourselves. And, let's really unite the campuses this year.
In regards to
Isabel had her hand up, then Dominique.
On that note, I was wondering, and I'm just running this past everybody, would it be okay if we were to share our school emails in the chat just so that way we can have a way of communication, or start a Teams sort of group chat, something along those lines, so that way we have a mainstream way of communication?
I have everybody's email, and I can give that to Tyler and to Dakota to start that, if that's all right with everybody.
I'm fine with that, but in case if anybody is interested in contacting me for any information, I just posted my email in the chat.
Okay.
I will do the same.
Dominique?
Yeah, I was just gonna piggyback off that and say that we could do like maybe like a WhatsApp group chat, if everybody wanted like something that was more like instant messaging to get in contact with each other. But I will also drop my email as well so that we can all create some type of group or team.
Same here.
I would be, oh, sorry. I would be down for something similar. I mean, you know how it is with, some people checking emails, some people are good at it, some people aren't. If there's a platform everyone would prefer that, would work best for you guys, something convenient, something instant, let's shoot some ideas.
Is everyone okay with phone numbers? If we made a
I'm
group
down.
chat, I'm
I'm
cool.
cool with that.
Yeah, I'm down.
If this is all like allowed, I don't
Please
know if
just
there's
don't
like any
call me.
logistical errors with that. Yeah, please.
It is. So what I'll do is I will give everybody's contact information and Dakota, and I wouldn't put your phone numbers in the chat for right now, but I'll give Dakota and Tyler everybody's campus emails, and then you guys can arrange how you guys would like to communicate with one another, how everybody would like to communicate with everybody.
Yeah, you
And
guys
you
can,
can,
this is recorded, but it's also posted on an open website that
Yeah.
anybody can see on the
Oh, yeah.
internet. So you don't want to put your emails and your phone numbers and stuff out there. All
I
the
should probably just
emails were
get rid
in
of
the
that.
invites that Tam sent out, so you could get all the emails from there.
emails is your school email is information that is out for everybody anyway. You can Google that, but I don't want your phone numbers out there. Thank you, Mike, for being here. I appreciate you being here.
Bye, Mike.
Okay, so with that said, I am going to leave it to Dakota to say what's the closing you say. It's your first time.
Oh, give me
Would
one
like
sec.
to adjourn the meeting? Do I have a
Yes.
second? No, say it.
I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Schenkel seconds.
Meeting is
All in
adjourned.
favor?
All in favor.
Hi.
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 I'm going to stop the recording. Dakota and Tyler, would you please stay on?
Absolutely.
It was